Okay, last one here, prediction number 3. I promised it earlier, and really no show has been complete this year without a mention for it. So I have to do it and just talk about AI. What does that look like in 2025? I want to kind of take a step back and maybe do a review, look back in 2024. That'll help me look forward into 2025 of what's going on. And what I've noticed is, hey, and I guess it was 2023, November 23, October 2023, ChatGPT came out, right? And that was this big boom. And that was great. I mean, it's a fantastic tool. I use it all the time. I use it for brainstorming more than anything. I think it's a great kind of brainstorm partner. It can also act as a search engine. It does some great things. But really, since then, and it's been whatever, 15 months, I haven't seen any other really great commercial application. And honestly, if you just dive a little bit deeper into most of these applications, it's just a very thin layer over ChatGPT, right? So I've talked about in previous episodes where even for us, we've embedded AI elements into the CRM, but all it's doing is it's summarizing notes. All it's doing is taking your notes, sending it to ChatGPT and getting the response. But really 90% of that is ChatGPT, and then 10% is, the integrations. And so all new tech really that has come out in the past, call it 15 months, has just been ways to interact with ChatGPT. And, people listening might tell me I'm wrong, but that's just my quick assessment. And there's definitely maybe some, I don't know, fringe elements or fringe products out there that maybe buck that trend, but that's the general trend that I see. And so I just think that's really interesting. So the point is that we kind of have this ChatGPT, and there's no real commercial applications for it yet other than a small layer. And the reason I think is because it's too general, right? But it's not so smart just yet. So it's in this weird place. So where does it go? I think it kind of splits. It can go one of two places. So the two problems being it's too general but not smart enough to really do things, deep things like a human could. And so, the first thing you do is you go down, the AGI route, the artificial general intelligence, getting it close to a human. And, I think a lot of people are pursuing that with a lot of vigor, spending a lot of money on it. You got XAI, you got OpenAI, you got Microsoft, Google, all these people spending a ton of money on all these GPUs trying to get to a much smarter, much more sophisticated model version of ChatGPT. And I think that's a great route to go. I think that's a long road to go, but it's a good road to go. But that's one way, I think, where this ChatGPT kind of diverges. One way is just, okay, let's get it smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter until it's much closer to a human level intelligence. So, okay, hopefully we'll get there. And that's an interesting path to see. But I think the other way is just starting to get hyper specific with these models and really these tools that you have. And so instead of just like a general, ChatGPT that answers some questions, starting to get more and more specific. And actually my bold prediction is that it's not just enough to say, hey, I'm going to have train a model like ChatGPT, but for mortgage agents, I don't think that's actually going to be enough. It's still too general. I think it has to be, a ChatGPT, a model that is specific to me specifically. It's like Tom's model that he uses, and it looks at all of Tom's emails, all of Tom's notes, the way he talks, the way he does all the things that he does with his clients, with his colleagues, with his friends, it doesn't matter, and makes a Tom agent, right? And we talked about these agents a little bit earlier. So I think the other way we go is just getting hyper specific, and it's not even just industry specific. I think it's almost like person by person specific. And the way I think about it is, AI is going to turn into a VA, a virtual assistant, let's call it, virtual in a very real sense. Think about a VA. You don't just get, this is kind of weird to think about a person who's a cookie cutter, a VA for mortgage. That still, wouldn't work. What you need is a VA who's specific to your business, who knows how your business works. And I think that's the way these AI agents are going. And so with that in mind, where does that leave the opportunity in terms of technology? Well, I don't think it's going to be, this traditional SaaS model where someone makes one thing and can distribute it to 1,000 people and everyone can use these bots. Because again, each bot's got to be unique to the person. That's my bold prediction. And so our traditional model of how we think about software and how it's built and distributed, I think that's not going to actually work in this kind of new paradigm. I think instead where the opportunity exists is, I think, two things. One would be, again, in the hardware. We're seeing a lot of opportunity in hardware. And actually, just as an interesting side note, NVIDIA came out, I think, just this week with a $250 GPU. So a super cheap thing. And for anybody who's curious, a GPU is really the tool, or I guess the hardware that trains these models. And so it's a super, super cheap piece of hardware that really anybody can pick up and use to train a model. So Again, maybe NVIDIA is seeing similar type trends, I don't know, but they've obviously invested a lot of time and focused on this very, small, bite-sized piece of hardware that can train these probably similarly bite-sized models, but hyper-specific. So that's just a quick side note, but kind of aligns with that trend. So again, it's in the hardware, that opportunity, or the other thing is maybe it's not software, but maybe it's services that allow you to take a model and train it to be your specific person. So I think the opportunity exists in products or services that help you train your AI model or AI agent, let's call it. So it's not the AI agent itself. Again, they all have to be very specific, but any type of service provider or product that helps you train your AI agent, I think that's where an interesting opportunity lies.